Hello everyone, it's lovely to see so many of you here. When we were planning this evening, we thought it might be useful just to start off with just talking a little bit about what free schools are and what's brought us here to sort of try and set up a free school. Can you hear me at the back? There was problems before? Yep, you can, great. Free schools are new schools that once open become academy trusts. So they become very much like academy schools like Twyford and Drayton Manor and those sorts of schools. Although free schools can be set up by community groups or religious groups, charity groups, what they eventually are is they're run by educational professionals. So the groups that are involved in setting up the schools, some of those people may become governors, and some may just disappear and hopefully enjoy being members of the community where there's a thriving school that contributes a lot to the community. Free schools have to follow the admissions code. They can't be selective entry. They're monitored by Ofsted. So in essence, they've got very similar accountabilities to all the other schools in the area. What led us to get involved in free schools was basically the need for secondary school provision in the area. A few of us went and met the council members of the council back in October and talked to them about the shortage of secondary school places and what their intentions and plans were. The local authority were very good at sharing the figures and the shortage of places. And I don't know if you can see those at the back, but basically if I explain this to you, I'll turn this around so I can see it. This year's year 6, you can see the zeros, which means it's just right. There's enough places for every year 6 child. When you move to this year's year 5, by the time they go to secondary school, the bottom shows there's 180 places too short. And this goes right up to this year's reception year. Currently, there are 1,142 secondary places too short. And the Ealing and Hanwell area, you can see there the shortage of places that are there. In all honesty, we wouldn't be standing here and setting up a free school group if there wasn't the need for places. That's our number one driver. And I think our thinking is because free schools can be set up by any number of people, and religious groups or people with particular interests, our goal is we want a community school that's basically open to the whole of the community and non-selective entry, and really just have a really good school in the heart of the community for the community. And that's why we decided to put in all the hard work that needs to be done to setting up a free school. When we thought about the free school, we went and spoke to the council and said to the council, what's your plans, what's your hope for meeting the need of the shortage of places? And basically the council told us they had looked at expanding existing secondary schools, but basically due to the legislative changes and the constraints on them, they were unable to expand the secondary school provision. We spoke to Councillor Julian Bell, the leader of the council, and he suggested that basically the council feel they need to take a pragmatic rather than an ideological stance. So they need to recognise that whether or not they agree ideologically about free schools are the solution to the shortage of places. So from our point of view, we thought as we would rather a free school set up by a community group, that actually our vision is for a local school available to local students, not selective, and we truly are inclusive and welcome every single member of the community to come to our school, and that's a really important part of our vision. Holly's here from the local authority. Do you want to add anything to that, Holly, of what I've said?
It might be more appropriate in questions, but maybe
Okay.
So maybe I'll stand later on the local authority's point of view.
Okay. So we sort of would like a mixed sex inclusive secondary school from 11 to 18. We'd like a community group to set up the free school. We don't particularly want a religious group that's going to influence the intake, and we'd rather it be a group like us who are sympathetic and understanding of some of the concerns about free schools, some of the concerns about not employing qualified teachers, deviating from the national curriculum, pay and conditions for teachers. We really, really want to get those things right. And for those people who are concerned about free schools, if they can tolerate the fact that that is what we're going to do based on the fact that that's the only solution, we'd like to work with them to make sure we get those things right. Those figures we'll put up on our website, so anyone who can't see them properly can revisit them. Okay, our vision for the free school, and maybe I should just actually start off by saying, as a steering group here, our job, really what we're trying to do now, is set a vision for the school. So that's a lot like a school's governing body. They agree a vision for the school, and then a curriculum's developed, and then teachers and head teachers are employed to deliver that vision. As a steering group, none of the people sitting up here intend to work in the school. Some of us may become governors, but the school will be run and operationalised by head teachers and teachers. But what we're doing is similar to what governors do, and some of us, we will become governors if the school opens, is set the vision and explore the curriculum. So our vision, the first aspect of our vision is scholarship. So basically, what matters to us is pupils making academic progress. Now, we focus on the word progress because no matter whether your child arrives at the school way ahead of what's expected for their age or way below, what matters to us is whatever they come with, they leave with a lot more. They make a lot of progress every single year. So we're very passionate about that. We're passionate about moving pupils on according to their stage and not their age. There's a number of ways that we'll go about doing that, but one of the key ways is we're quite a small school, so every student will know every teacher and every teacher will know every student. We'll have a tracking system, an information monitoring system, where we carefully record pupils' progress and what's supporting and hindering that. So students will regularly, probably half-termly, but at least termly, have a review with their tutor where targets are set and their progress is monitored against it. Our targets will be ambitious because we're very ambitious for our students. The reason for that is we recognise that academic attainment not only gives access to universities, world-class universities and excellent jobs in a very competitive global market, it also has what E.D. Hirsch talks about, cultural enrichment. So by understanding the curriculum and developing in-depth knowledge in areas of the curriculum, you can access a lot more in your community and in the world than you can without. In terms of academic achievement, we're also going to rely very much or encourage very much parental engagement. We know that makes a big difference in how well students do at school. So again, with the half-termly and termly reviews, we'll be wanting to engage parents and hopefully they'll come along, contributing to the target setting, contributing to the reviewing. For those of you who have children with special educational needs, this might sound quite familiar because this is often the practice that happens for children where there are concerns. And basically, we want to meet all needs. So we expect to bring that approach to all children. For children with special educational needs, we may have to set those dates far in advance because for those of you who are used to dealing with speech therapists and occupational therapists, they often can't make those dates. So we're hoping by this being a regular built-in part of our curriculum, that's really going to help with the planning of provision for children who need some additional support. So I think that just about covers scholarship. The next aspect is preparedness. Now, we're working on, as I say, we're working on a word. We'd like to come up with a better word than that, and hopefully you might contribute to that. But what we're touching on there is the OECD and lots of universities are saying academic qualifications aren't enough. Students are entering the world without the proper skills and capabilities to actually deal with challenges and deal with themselves effectively. So things like critical thinking, collaboration skills, creativity are all really essential life skills now to go on and succeed in world-class universities and jobs of significance and important, even just getting on with each other. And we've looked at a lot of the research and what a lot of other schools are doing, and we realise that the approach to that is best when you embed it in the curriculum delivery. So what you'll see in our classrooms is that there'll be your usual learning objective, and alongside that there'll be like a learning skills objective. So the teacher might say, today we're also going to really concentrate on collaborating when we're working on this, and he'll give feedback to the students on how well they're doing. And that also will be reported back to you as parents or community members if you're coming to a review, so you'll find out how your children's learning as well as what they're learning and how to help support them with that. That's really important for all students. It's very helpful for students who have fallen behind in their learning, because often they don't have the understanding of the most effective learning skills. But it's also very useful for very high attaining pupils. And last week I went to visit Dr. Challoner. That's a selective entry school that's got probably one of the highest, what we call value added, which is the students make an awful lot of progress once they're at the school, despite it being a selective entry school, because they do these dual focus lessons and combine it, and they're going to work with us on developing that side of things. Fulfilment, we want our students, as well as to do excellently in terms of scholarship and to actually have these great learning skills and ICT skills to go out there and make a difference in the world, we really want them to be happy and fulfilled and find their passions. We want them to be able to enjoy life to the full, because that's just important for everyone. And Alison's going to talk to you a bit more about our enrichment programme that we're developing. I guess what's quite important to say about the enrichment programme, it's actually a fundamental part of our curriculum. It's not extracurricular. So therefore, every student will participate in our enrichment curriculum, and it'll be part of the school day. If there are cuts, you won't find that being cut out, because it's actually a fundamental part of our curriculum, and we will therefore be accountable to the DfE in our funding agreement to deliver on some targets for that. And finally, citizenship. Citizenship, I mean, it's fairly obvious in terms of we're a community group wanting to do this, open this school in the community. So citizenship is really, really important to us. And we see that panning out in a number of ways. One, from year 7, our students will follow what we're calling the PPE course, which is politics, philosophy and education. And we want our students to understand local, national and international politics and government. And basically, a lot of young people are quite disenfranchised from politics and actually contributing to society and participating in it. And we think that that's a really important aspect to inform them of those structures so they can get involved if they choose. The second part of our citizenship aspect of our curriculum, we really want our students to participate in school development projects, local development projects, national development projects and global development projects. So again, it'll be part of our curriculum. We'll have aspects of the school day where we will get involved in those sorts of projects and activities going on. One thing we're really keen to, as we're a community school, we're aware that some children in our community perhaps won't come to our school because they go to special school, and we really want to find ways to include children that live in our community that go to special schools to get involved with our community in some way, shape or form. So that might involve working closely with some of the local special schools, and where children from our school have siblings who go to special schools further afield, because some children from special schools bus quite far away, we'll look at ways we can incorporate those children and get them involved in some of our activities so they actually feel included in our school community too. So that's a brief overview of our vision. How will we achieve this? Well, basically, school effectiveness, I guess there's quite a lot of research around that, but basically outstanding teachers are supported by outstanding leaders who are supported by strong governance. So basically, that's the system that we're putting in place. Everything that I've talked about to you tonight is based on evidence-based, so we've looked and researched about what's most sort of efficacious or what has the most efficacy for supporting pupil outcomes in the things that we feel passionate about. And also it's from building on best practice that goes on locally and nationally. And finally, sort of this is a description of what I think life at Ealing Fields will be like. Hard work, engaging, exciting and fun. We really want our students to want to challenge and engage in challenge and find challenging stimulating, because certainly they'll come across that in life, and what better place to learn about that in school. We want children to be happy at school. But what's really important at the secondary phase is actually to get it right so that students are committed to doing the best they can and are proud of their achievements. We don't want it to be cool to sort of not try hard and not study, as is often the case, and that culture can go really wrong. So we're going to work really hard to develop a culture where students are really proud of their achievements and try really hard. And key that they take responsibility of their own actions. Not always easy. If any of you have got teenagers already, that's a fundamental challenge, and that's a challenge that we'll be supporting parents with at school. We will have high expectations for academic achievement, regardless of what students arrive at, what levels they arrive at. We'll have very ambitious targets for them based on helping them make the most progress they can. And we want students to develop the character, skills, attitudes and dispositions that will serve them well throughout their lives.